Hello again, Struck Club. Today I'm bringing you another build video for Torchlight 3, and this one I decided to call the Blazing Quos Dusk Mage and Flaming Destroyer build. And maybe you might have guessed it from the name, but this is a Digitus basic attack build. If you need to skip to a certain part of the video, you can use the chapters on the seek bar of the video player in YouTube, or you can use the timestamps in the description. So now let's talk about what this build is. This build is all about maximizing your energy gain, using the basic attacks to do so, and spending this energy, dumping it with Blazing Pillar, which we can just cast and let it do damage, unlike my build from yesterday where I had to constantly be using Sword Smash to do the damage with it, to dump the energy. With Blazing Pillar you dump more energy per cast, and not only that, but you also can do other things while it's doing its damage. So it's pretty decent. So dumping the energy would result in getting quicker casts, quicker recharges of the ult, the summoning smash skill, and in the meantime I've decided to include two skills. Entropy, eventually with a big cooldown when you get the Molten Reach. I didn't have it, so it's without the Molten Reach special effect. And you can also use Radiant Blast, which has a passive to boost your basic attacks, which I'm not sure whether it works all the time. It's maybe a little bit buggy. And we've got Damnation to help us with damage reduction, and right now the Digitus procs damage reduction, which maybe is not intended. And you can see the first boss didn't take too long. Some bosses would take longer than others if you don't go in prepared, with Harmonic Form ready to pop off at the start of the fight, and with your relic energy charged up and filled up. So I hope you enjoy some builds like this. It's not a very strong build right now because basic attack affixes are not well, they're not working, not all of them, only the ones that specify the weapon type, like basic attack with Digitus, for example, or Greatsword. But I hope you like it, so let's show you the skills now. For the skill points in this build, it took me a while to figure out the way I want to do it, but in the end that's kind of how I did it. I will start with the light skills, which is 4 points into Holy Bolt for the light skills damage passive, 4 points tier 2 into Light Spear for the tier 2 Harmonic Form duration. Then I've decided to put 8 points for the tier 3 into Radiant Blast, so I can get the damage for basic attacks and I can get the tier 1 and 3 bonuses. But if you don't want to play with Radiant Blast, maybe you can put 4 points into it to get the tier 2 bonus and put the other 4 points into Holy Bolt and play with Holy Bolt and the Arc of Light, for example. That's just one way of doing it. Then on the dark side of things, I've decided to go for Entropy as my skill, and ideally you would be using the Molten Reach, and Molten Reach would make Entropy have a long cooldown of 8 seconds, and if you have this cooldown reduction, this goes down to 7.2 seconds. And it's nice, and you also get the crit chance to dark skills by investing into it, which is pretty nice. I decided to take tier 2 Unholy Bolt for the dark skills damage, tier 2 Shadow Step for the mana regeneration, tier 1 Damnation, just for that extra mana return without the relic energy charge, because if I put 3 points here for extra relic energy charge, I might as well just put the points here and get 15% instead of just 10. So yeah, this one gives me duration increase, but I think this duration increase is not as worth it as extra 5% relic energy charge. Now tier 2 energy spike for the Harmonic Form duration, which stacks with this Harmonic Form duration, and then Dark Spears for the cooldown reduction. Right now the cooldown reduction maybe you wouldn't need as much, because there's only this thing that benefits from the cooldown and this thing. This right now doesn't benefit from the cooldown, and you aren't using any other skills on a cooldown with this build. You could transform this into a cooldown skill, but I would suggest strongly against it, because you want to spam it to build that charge. And this one you need to transform into a cooldown skill. I just don't have the item, so I couldn't. And we're also using Consecration as a level 2 skill. It's level 0 because I put no points, but from my Celestial Hat and Cuirass I get 2 levels on every skill that I haven't put a point into. Consecration is optional. If you don't want Consecration, you can put Luminous Run here, or you can put things like Spirit Well or even Energy Spike, whatever you feel is more needed. I prefer Consecration, but eventually I will put the skill from the new boots, the Ancient Ember boots. This would be the skill I wanna use over there. So more about Ancient Ember and things like that later on when we talk about Legendarium and in the gear segment as well. So here we go into the Flaming Destroyer side of things. I've decided to max out Blazing Pillar. I decided to max out Summoning Smash, max out Giant's Wings, and the remaining 4 points I've put into Energizer. So this 20% energy charge combines with this 25% when using basic attacks, and we get a decent 45% relic energy charge, excluding bonuses from items. So I think it's good. It's not gonna give you good damage. Keep in mind right now, basic attacks are underpowered. Many of the bonuses that are supposed to boost basic attacks don't work, especially on the affix side of things, which we will talk about in the gear segment. And some skills that supposedly boost basic attacks, like this one, don't always give you that extra damage. I haven't tested whether this would give me the basic attack damage all the time, but when I was testing Shocking Crowns on the Realm Master, I would get Shocking Crown, it would give me the bonus damage, then I would go into a map and return, and then it wouldn't give me the bonus until I respec 1 point out of it to get rid of the tier 2 bonus, and then spec that point again into it to get that bonus, and then I would have that bonus damage again. I've already reported this, so hopefully they investigate every single skill that supposedly gives us basic attack, and hopefully they fix the basic attack affixes on items. Not the ones that give you basic attack with Digitus, Pistol, Sword, Mace, but the ones that in general give you basic attack damage, such as this one. Bonus damage to basic attacks. This one does show up here. I will show you. If I put this, you can see basic attack damage, but look at my basic attack. It's 108% with or without it. And if I were to show you the damage, 4600, I think that was the damage. Okay, 4027, and with this one it's 4027, so you can see no difference. So yeah, I think enough about the skills, and I can probably just tell you what you might want to do if you want alternatives. So if you don't want Entropy, you can remove 4 points from here and put 4 points here, and that can do the trick. If you want to use Energy Spike, if you want to use Unholy Bolt, the same, remove 4 points from here, put them here, that could do the trick as well. Here, as I said, you can remove 4 points here, put them here, or you can remove 8 points here, put them here, or put them here, if you want to use one of those skills instead of Radiant Blast, but then you're gonna lose the damage bonus, so keep that in mind. If you want to remove 8 points here and put 4 points here, and then remove 4 points here, then put 8 here or here, it also works. So now let's talk about the Legendarium. On the Legendarium side of things, there are a few things I would like to mention. First of all, right now, legendary items are bugged and don't give you all affixes that the blue item can give you. And a designer, game designer, Michael May, known as Mayhem, he has confirmed that every single legendary item should be able to get every single blue affix that an equivalent blue item can get right now. The only downside to using legendary items should be them not being able to get wife bound, which still is not that bad, because yeah, you're losing 20% stats, but in general legendary items have like 10-15% stronger affix roll, so you're kind of losing like 5%, not 20 or 10. I'm not sure exactly how much stronger the affixes on legendaries are, but here's what you would want to use right now until this gets fixed, until the legendaries get fixed. You want the Celestial Cuirass, and you want the Arc Power Pants, but the Arc Power Pants is bugged. It's not supposed to give you this skill. This is the old skill of the Arc Power Pants, which is getting changed. And right now this skill you can only get on the Ember Pants, or you're supposed to only get it on the Ember Pants. And the Ember set is kind of weird. very good. And once they fix it, you would be able to wear 3 pieces Ember, 3 pieces Celestial, and then swat a 4th piece Celestial and get a very good synergy. On your screen you should be seeing the current suggested legendarium ideal items and my suggested legendarium ideal items, including what to wear equipped after they fix those missing affixes. So right now I would suggest wear the Ember boots in this slot here where King Snaggletooth is. It's just a fewer there. Wear the Celestial Cuirass in the legendarium and swat the arc powered pants as well. So on the 3 slots you want Celestial Cuirass, Ember boots and Ember pants, not the arc powered. Arc powered works until they fix it, but it's getting fixed, so keep that in mind. Ideal choice, third choice, if you don't have the boots or the pants, would be the shoulders of the Ember set. So that's what you want. So now, about the other setup, about the setup if they fix the affixes. If they fix the affixes, you would be wearing Ancient Ember pants equipped on your hero, not in the legendarium. So you're equipping on your hero Ancient Ember pants, Ancient Ember boots and Ancient Ember shoulders, which leaves you with the mask as a Celestial, with the Cuirass equipped as a Celestial and the Gauntlets equipped as a Celestial set. And that means that Celestial boots need to go into the legendarium, and they will, ideally, for the setup, and that leaves you with 2 more slots to put other things that you like, such as the Celestial pants if you want that extra damage boost from them. In fact, I might as well equip them right now. They might be better than the ones I'm wearing, and do something like this. So yeah, that should be a good setup for now. And then you would have still another thing that you could put in the slot. If you have the Celestial pants and the Celestial boots, you still have one more thing that you can swat, whatever that is, whatever you want. In fact, it would be the Molten Reach. Most likely you would be putting the Molten Reach in that slot. So I think that pretty much clears it up. Now let's go for the pet skills and say quickly a little bit about those. I like using crit chance. If you have more crit chance than you need, and you don't need more than 40% because that's the cap, then you might wanna remove it and put defenses or movement speed or block chance as your aura. You can only have 1 aura skill. I also like healing friendship. It's nice, and I also like immobilizing strike on certain builds, and it even helps melee builds to make sure that enemies don't run away, so it does work well. And you can either use battle cry or defensive posture or whatever else you want on the other slot. My top 2 skills are the deadlier strikes and healing friendship though. So enough about skills, let's talk about items, let's talk about gear. And here we are at the segment where we talk about gear, and as I did say before, there are certain things that you need to keep in mind, that certain legendary items are broken. Actually, every legendary item is broken, and it doesn't give you affixes, certain affixes that only blue items get right now. And they're not supposed to. As Michael May, the game designer known as Mayhem, mentioned in the Mayhem Mondays, every legendary item should get every affix an equal blue item of the same type gets. So if I can get this, let's show you this example here. If I can get flat poison damage on a chest that's blue, I should be able to get it on a chest that's orange as well. If I can get flat damage, poison, ice, etc. on rare Digitus, I should be able to get it on a legendary Digitus as well. So once those things are fixed, we would have some more variety, some more freedom. For now, we're stuck to using blue weapons and sometimes using blue chest pants and boots for certain things if we want to min-max certain stats. So the ideal setup when things are fixed would be wearing the Celestial Mask, Cuirass and Gauntlets, and the new set, the Ancient Ember Shoulders, Boots and Pants, as I said in the Legendarium segment from the skill segment. So for now, you can see I'm wearing a Celestial Mask, Gauntlets and Boots, and I'm swatting the Cuirass. But you want to wear 3 of those things and swat the 4th, regardless how you do it. My suggestion is if you wear a Celestial Cuirass, at least make sure it gives you damage to Entropy or damage to Radiant Blast. If you want to go for a more generalized setup where you're not boosting Entropy or Radiant Blast, but you're boosting both of them but with less damage, then you go for flat damage on a chest. It's not gonna be bad as an option, something like this. Then on the legs you can again either get damage to Entropy, damage to Radiant Blast, or damage to both of them if you're lucky. That applies to the chest as well. Or you can do something that gives you damage to a certain flat damage. The same way this one can give flat damage, the legs can give you flat damage. Basically, chest can give you damage to a skill, crit damage percent, flat damage, and damage elemental percent. Whereas this one can give you damage to a skill, crit chance, no crit damage here, crit chance here, flat damage elemental, and percent damage elemental. And the boots, the blue boots, can give you damage to I don't think they can give you damage to skill, they can give you damage to basic attacks, they can give you mana regen, and they can give you crit damage, and the blue boots can also give you percent elemental damage, like percent physical, percent poison, percent ice, etc. So you would wanna, if you can get the Celestial boots, maybe get some good blue boots, and that could do well, and you can just swat them. But yeah, from those 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces, pick one and put it in the legendarium, wear the others, or wear all 4 if you can find good blue ones. In the shoulders you would want damage with Entropy or damage with Radiant Blast or crit damage. You can get flat or percent elemental damage here, but you could get certain things before, like cost reduction. Maybe you can't get those anymore. I hope it's a bug and they return, because cost reduction is nice. Defenses are always nice on every single piece of equipment. Crit chance on the mask is amazing. Plus 3, 2 or 1 skill levels to a certain skill that you are using will be amazing from the Celestial Mask, especially if it's a skill you have more than 1 skill point into. So you can remove some points and then put those points into Energizer or into Damnation. Let's say you get 3 points. You can put 1 point into Energizer, or you can even put 3 points into Damnation, which is the better choice, because these 3 points would give you 10% energy charge rate. Into Energizer you can get more than an extra point. So that's something to keep in mind. And yeah, there's things to do with those skill points, but it's 3, it's not 4, so be wary of that. So electric defense, poison defense, fire defense are pretty good, but if you overdo it with one element, you might need a second set that does this in the other elements. I try to kind of strike a balance between fire, electric and poison from my gear. Sometimes I can't, sometimes I can. Thankfully sockets help remedy this. But yeah, you would want a shield or a focus. It's up to you. I prefer a shield. And any shield would do. It could be a nice road power conduit, it could be a nice road firewall, it could be a blue shield. You would want damage at the top together with block chance, and at the bottom you would want electric or poison or fire. And then in the socket you would want the other element. So in my case, if I had poison instead of HP, it would have been the best there, so I could have like 10k plus on each element. You can even get something with extra block chance, but HP is the thing I want the least in my shield. And this is actually not a bad base. I would have preferred something like this with better defenses on it, but I couldn't get one like this with better defenses. And yeah, for the weapon, just get a good rare Digitus for now, with flat damage at the top, flat damage in the middle and flat damage in the socket. And for the pet, get a Drat neckband with faster cooldown for pet active skills and faster attack speed, which means faster cooldown for the healing skill, and the healing from Drat neckband based on the basic attack speed will be faster. So you would want faster cooldown for pet active skills and attack speed on the tokens, the pet tags as they're called, And the tokens I suggest wearing would be Invigoration and Bartering. If you're not farming as much, maybe replace Bartering with Phoenix if your pet dies, or with anything else. Let's show you some of the other options quickly. The other pet options would be the Shock Nova, the Fire Nova, the Poison one, that's Contagion, or I'm not sure whether 2 times Invigoration can stack. I don't think it can. But yeah, I definitely suggest bartering if you like farming, if you like picking up stuff and sending the pet to the town. But it's up to you what you get. Might as well use a blue one if you don't have a good legendary one as well. So that's pretty much it. I probably might have missed certain things, such as relic energy cost is definitely a good stat, and relic energy recharge rate, another good stat that you can get on certain items. So if I've missed some of the things, make sure to check the website. I post the link in the description, and I pin it as a comment under the video, and then I might mention more things on that website. So let's move on to showing you some more gameplay footage of the build. And here we are at the gameplay segment where you would see more of the build in action, and I can also talk about certain variations of how to combo your skills. In general, you would try to be spamming energy pure, especially when there's champions on you. Try to spam it. If you have enough for 2 energy pures, do it. If you have 1 for 1, well, do it. It's still good. The more you cast this, the better, especially when there's champions or a bunch of enemies clustered up in one place. If there's just a few enemies, I would strongly advise against using energy pure and wasting it for like 2-3 trash mobs. But in big groups like this one, it's pretty decent to use it. Then you would really want to use energy, not energy spike, but dark spears and Damnation to make them do less damage, to make the dark spears trickling underneath their feet and recharging your dark buff bar. And you would want to use Entropy to help with that. I'm not really good at using Entropy in most of the footage I've recorded. I kept forgetting to do that because I'm used to having Entropy on Molten Reach on a big cooldown and not using it all the time. And having it recharge the buff bar twice as fast due to the twice as many projectiles. But yeah, you would be using Entropy on a Molten Reach in increased kind of... So as I said, ideally you would have Molten Reach and use Entropy every 8 or 7.2 seconds depending on your cooldown reduction. And that would really help recharge the dark buff bar along with dark spears, and then you're using Radiant Blast for the light buff bar. Radiant Blast is your main source and maybe only source of light buff bar damage, and if you save up some energy and if you have full energy charge before a boss, you can start by using Consecration to boost your damage, then Damnation and energy and dark spears on the boss. And then you can start with your DPS skills, such as the Blazing Pillar, Summoning Smash, Entropy and Radiant Blast. And when you don't have enough energy maybe to cast, or when you just need to fill up, use the basic attacks. When you need to recharge energy again, use the basic attacks. They would make your energy recharge much quicker. In general, the build is pretty fun. It's pretty fun, it's pretty nice, even though it's a bit underpowered right now and I can't get the basic attack to be worth damage wise. I still find it very nice to play. To get notified when I upload more content like this or similar for this game or other games like it, such as Wooters of all varieties, you could subscribe to my channel, hit the bell button to not miss out on notifications, and optionally you can even join as a member of the Struck Club and get access to emotes, badges or other perks such as private tutorials and things like that. And I would like to use this part of the video to thank the people who are currently YouTube members of the Struck Club. Thanks for watching this video, keep it cool, and until next time, Struck Club. Goodbye.